What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. I'm AJ, and y'all, it has been an interesting past couple of weeks for the horror genre. Of course, last week we got Longlegs, right? It was a film that was heavily marketed from just traditional marketing to very unique marketing with all the different, codes and stuff, teaser websites. It got real crazy with the marketing, and then they had a lot of pre-screenings and a lot of social reactions. And if you're a follower of our channel, you know I did a review on this. And while I felt like it was a good film, I did think it was a little bit overhyped. Now, overall, like I said, still a good film for the horror genre, right? And now we fast forward, turn the page to this week, and we get another horror film. Now, this one, in comparison to Longlegs, this thing ain't barely have no marketing. In fact, I think I only saw the trailer for this film one time in theaters. And then outside of that, I don't remember seeing like any YouTube ads, any like website, placements or anything like that for this film. It kind of snuck back up on me. And I didn't even realize it was coming out until I think the day before. I was like, oh yeah, like that film's supposed to come out this week. But here we are. And I gotta say, this was a surprising one. This film is great. Let's talk about it. Now, if you're not familiar with Oddity, it is a film written and directed by Damien McCarthy. Now, I'm not too familiar with Damien's work, but I know a lot of people know one of his previous films called Caveat. That's a film that I haven't seen, but I saw people talking about it, and people mentioning that that's a film that they enjoyed. But it's coming from Damien, and the premise of this film is there's a woman who is a psychic medium, and her sister is murdered, and she visits the site of the crime to kind of uncover the truth of her sister's murder. And that's kind of all I'll give, just to save some intrigue and allow you to go in a little bit blind. So I think this movie does work even better when you do go in blind. And that's not to say that the story is not predictable. Once you start watching it, you know where it's going. But even though you can predict and you kind of know where it's going to end up, the way the story unravels is really well done. It is really well executed. Now, I'll start off by also saying that the performances I thought were really good. Some of the lead performers in this film were, I'm probably going to butcher all these names. I do apologize. We got Gwynlyn Lee, who was playing the husband in this film, Carolyn Bracken, who was playing the psychic sister in this film, and then Caroline Minton, who was playing a girlfriend in this film, and then Tad, I can't even pronounce his name, but Tad Murphy, who was also seen in the trailer as the guy at the front door. But and there was more performance in this, a few more, but everyone did a fantastic job. I do want to mention one more who played this character, Ivan Steve Wall. Great performance as well. And it's a very contained ghost story, haunted house type of horror thriller. And even though the story is simplistic in nature, it feels very traditional in its storytelling of a ghost story mixed in with a horror thriller. It works, and see, a lot of times when you have a film like Oddity, where the premise is very simple, the story is very easy to follow. It's very, at least the main story is very like surface level, very traditional horror film with some unique aspects to it, very creative aspects to it. It works. Sometimes just keeping things simple is all you need to do to just make a good film, and I think it all works in this film. And I feel like it's very contained, right? Most of the film is taking place at this house, and there is one other. I think there's only one other location you really see outside of that, and that's the husband's location of where he works. But that's I think the only two really locations. So it is a very contained film, and it works. The film is creepy. It does have jump scares in it, but none of them are cheap. They're all earned. It's not like the ones where someone sets down a cup a little too loud and it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like that was a cheap ass jump scare. No, all the ones in here are effective and they are earned, and the shit is actually, from something scary. You know what I'm saying? But this was like I said, this was a dope, surprising film. It's one that that kind of snuck back up on me because I could not remember that this one was coming out. And it's kind of unfortunate that it's not getting the same level of marketing as something like Longlegs. Not so much as the, don't overblow it, in terms of the hype, but just getting it out there so people know about it and can go support it. Because I do think this is a film that people should watch, especially if you're a fan of just like the more traditional ghost story horror films. You will enjoy this one. And I got now, like I said, I hadn't seen Damien's previous film, but now I definitely want to go back and watch it because I really enjoyed Oddity. And, one thing I mentioned with Longlegs, and it might have been due to, some of the overblown marketing, was I felt like it wasn't really like this terrifying thing like people were mentioning. But I can't say coming out of Oddity, I did feel very like creepy because this is a ghost story. And one of my issues with Longlegs that kind of kept it from being, great for me was, it had this supernatural element to it, but I felt like they didn't really go all the way with it. They kind of held back from it, where you have a film like this where it knows what it is. It is a ghost story film and they go all the way with it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the vibe, the tone, and the atmosphere, you know what I mean? The tension of not knowing what's there, what's lurking, in the dark. It's all right there at the forefront of this film, and you know what you're getting, and they deliver on that aspect of, the creepy ass, haunted house ghost story shit. And it's very effective because I'll tell you right now, when I came home, I was turning on the lights. You know what I'm saying? I was turning the lights on because there was just a creepy element to it of this idea of it's something haunting the house. And I do want to reiterate that it's a very simple premise with a slightly unique element to it. But it's a very simple premise, but man, they execute this simplified story so well, and it works to their favor of knowing exactly what it is and then delivering with the writing, the pacing, and just how the story unravels and unfolds. Even though you kind of know the destination, the way it plays out is really well done. And I actually really like the ending. I kind of felt like it was very like poetic in a way. So I really did enjoy the ending of this film as well. And just overall, this is a film that I think is going to be a must see for films this year. Go support it in theaters because I feel like this needs to be. I said this with Longlegs too, right? Even though I'm not, even though I'm saying Longlegs isn't great, it's still a good movie, and I still think it needs to be supported. But these are the kind of movies, Longlegs and Oddity, that we should be going out and paying money to see, so we could tell the studios, like, hey, we want more stuff like this. Stuff that's just good filmmaking has the great atmosphere, no cheap jump scares, the creative or just good writing, interesting concepts, and just good films. We need more like this, so we got to go out and support these films, y'all. So if you like, the simplified ghost story, haunted house horror thriller type of films, you will enjoy this film. And I can't speak to Caveat, but it seems like people who would appreciate Caveat would probably appreciate this film as well. As I was thinking about this film, because I watched it last night and I'm recording the review in the morning, I was kind of sitting on it and thinking about it. And one thing that this kind of made me think about was, because it is like a ghost story, right? And it's a tightly packaged film. How long is the runtime? Yeah, the runtime's only an hour and 38 minutes. So it's very well paced. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And it reminded me of like, and I mean this, and honestly, I do mean this in a really good way, right? It reminds me of, like, I don't know if I used to watch the show like Are You Afraid of the Dark or something like that, where, they all sit down and they're telling like these, supernatural or these ghost stories, right? This film's story is to me, is the kind of story that you would tell like in that campfire type of setting. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very simplified and easy to follow. But the way it unfolds is so well done, and it's just creepy as hell. And they got some, I do like how they do some of the creatively use some of the jump scares in some ways. And it's always things you know it's coming, but they fucking work and they deliver. But yeah, like I said, that Are You Afraid of the Dark style type of story, or like that Goosebumps type of story in a way. Obviously, like more mature, but just the simpleness is what it makes me feel like. I feel like I could be sitting down with somebody like around a campfire, and they could tell me the story. Once there was this woman. Like that's the vibe I was getting, and this shit works. This movie, man, I'm telling you, like this is a good one. Go and see it now. One thing I did want to mention, because I saw this being brought up in conversations online as well, was, is this better than Longlegs? And I think it's natural for people to compare films within a genre. I think that's fair and that's fine. Even though they have different, even though they're not exactly the same in terms of their subgenre, what they're trying to do, because they're horror films, naturally you want to compare it, and they just came out like a week apart. And I'll just give you my 2 cents on that topic. I actually do feel like this film is better than Longlegs for me. And it just goes back to what I said earlier about the delivering on the supernatural aspect, knowing what it is, being so well paced. It's just a nice, tight ghost story, haunted house horror thriller package. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple and well executed, and I just enjoyed it, and I was creeped out, and I could tell the people that were in the audience with me, which there was only 2 other people, but they were enjoying it as well. We were all all 3 of us was jumping and like, oh shit, like at the same time, and just kind of just having a good time with it. But yeah, y'all go check out Oddity in theaters right now. I do think that this might be another one that doesn't have a lot of locations or theatrical release locations out there, so definitely, if you got to make a little trip for it, I think it's worth it just to show support for a film like this. These smaller films need that kind of love, y'all. So this is one that I'm telling you, it's a dope film. And even if you go on Rotten Tomatoes right now, I know some people don't really fuck with Rotten Tomatoes like that, but I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is just a easy way to amalgamate the information and kind of see what the overall community of film watchers are saying. And right now it's sitting at a 97% critic rating and an 85% audience score. Now granted, the audience score's got fewer than 50 ratings, but it's still it's shaping up to end up being a surprise hit, definitely, because I don't think a lot of people even remember this film coming out. And that, like I said, that story, y'all, it fucking delivers, and it's creepy. But y'all, that's what I think. I won't ramble on too much. Y'all know I like to ramble. You know what I mean? I could probably talk about this movie for the next hour, but I'm not gonna hold y'all that long for this review. And I try to keep it as spoiler free as possible, because I do think this film works when you just go in and experience it without knowing too much. But that's what I think about Oddity. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now for this film. But if y'all have seen Oddity, let me know down in the comments below. How did y'all feel after watching Oddity, especially coming hot off the heels of Longlegs? Do you think that this film is better than Longlegs? I've seen that conversation, a lot in the online communities. Overall, what is your thoughts on Oddity? And have you seen Damian McCarthy's previous film, Caveat? And is that a film that you recommend me to go and see? Is it comparable to Oddity? I feel like I have heard that it is. But I'm definitely excited. Hey, this film has put Damian McCarthy on the map for me. I'm definitely going to, kind of keep tabs on this writer-director to see what their next project will be. And I feel like this might even propel them to be able to do an even bigger budget film the next time. Hopefully keeping the same principles from Oddity in the next film, because it works so well. But y'all, that will do it for this spoiler-free review of Oddity. Make sure you like this video if you made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much for watching the whole entire video. Make sure you like it, and again, comment, let me know your thoughts on Oddity, and just, hey, you can comment about other horror films in general. How are y'all feeling so far about the horror genre this year? We're now officially, or a little over halfway through the year. So let me know, how are you feeling about horror overall this year? Drop that down in the comments below as well. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, make sure you do subscribe, because we talk about all things horror here. We do horror movie reviews, trailer reactions. We talk about horror TV shows, horror games, you name it. Anything related to horror, we talk about it and discuss it on this channel. And then every Sunday, y'all, we do a live horror news discussion show that we go live at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and that's always every Sunday. So make sure that you have subscribed to tune in for this week's live horror news show, where we'll have one of our viewers on talking news with us. So definitely come and check that out and be a part of that. It is super dope. And we also post these on these reviews and news discussions on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. If you like audio formats, shout out to you, audio listener. If you're tuned in right now, we appreciate you as well. And currently, Spotify just dropped a new feature where you can comment on Spotify. So definitely add comments on Spotify as well. But that's it for this. Dang, I just hit my mic out, my bad. But that's it for this movie review, y'all. And I'm going to see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.